Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Sean Sublett from the Richmond Times-Dispatch with the afternoon weather briefing for this Saturday, January 15th. By this time tomorrow, the Commonwealth will be entrenched in a winter storm. Now, for this briefing, we're going to specifically look at metropolitan Richmond. And we think in Richmond, snow starts around midday, give or take an hour, 90 minutes or so. And it will be changing over from snow to some kind of wintry mix. But before that happens, look for about an inch, but to be honest, it could be as little as just a coating or perhaps as much as a couple of inches. So we'll call it about an inch before a changeover begins to take shape. And that probably happens in a couple of hours, within a couple of hours of starting, going over to sleet, and then several hours of freezing rain. And remembering the difference here, sleet is the little pellets of ice, whereas freezing rain is liquid until it freezes on contact with surfaces. And that's where we start seeing that caking on trees and power lines. So we do think we're going to get a few hours of that as the temperatures, when this is all going on, will be slowly creeping upward from the middle and upper 20s. So we think the biggest threat for ice as a result, in terms of icing down of surfaces and trees, power lines, that kind of thing, is between about 2 and 7 o'clock on Sunday. We're cautiously optimistic that as the storm center gets close to Richmond by 7 or 8 in the evening, there'll be enough wind around it to drag in some relatively milder air, not warm by any stretch, but warm enough to get the temperature above the freezing mark. Even though the sun will have gone down, the storm is so dynamic, we'll actually draw some air in from the east that could nudge the temperature above the freezing mark. But having said that, we still think there is a legit icing risk in that 5-hour window between 2 and 7 o'clock on Sunday. Then there will be a final push of precipitation. We think a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours of just legit heavy rain with that temperature back up into the 40s for a little while. There is legit concern that if that changeover is delayed, the temperature, if that temperature is delayed to get above freezing an extra hour or two, we could have more ice to contend with across metropolitan Richmond. Don't think that's the most likely outcome, but it is going to be close the way we see it right now. So keep that in the back of your mind if you are going to be heading out on Sunday afternoon, which admittedly we would not exactly suggest going forward into that time. So for Metro Richmond, we'll say some scattered power outages. We do not see a big skating rink at all, but there will be a few scattered power outages, we think, across the metropolitan area. Now, having said that, we do really expect the conditions to go downhill in a hurry once you go westward, out of Richmond, west of Interstate 95. To do that, I want to share a couple more maps here from our colleagues at the National Weather Service offices in Wakefield, Blacksburg, and Sterling. These were issued earlier on this afternoon. So for the snowfall map here, don't focus too much in on the specific numbers, but here, kind of look at the trends. The idea that the lighter colors here, the blues are lighter snow. And then the darker blues and the yellow, they mean heavier snow. So as expected, you're going to have heavier snow going westward, especially these areas for the Shenandoah and Roanoke valleys toward the Blue Ridge Parkway itself, upwards of 6 inches or maybe a little bit more than that. But there will be more snow on the ground a couple of counties away from Interstate 95 going westward. But of greater concern for power outages, we think, is ice. The last 3 or 4 cycles of the computer simulations we look at all suggest that ice is going to be increasingly a problem for the Piedmont of Virginia. So this is the ice accumulation forecast, again, for Sunday. Don't lock in too much on the numbers, but the idea here being, you see the counties that are in orange. Those are the ones where the risk is highest for icing, heavy enough icing to cause more widespread power outages. So this is areas like Martinsville and Danville and South Boston, northward across the Stanton River through Bedford, Lynchburg, Appomattox, going into Buckingham, probably parts of Nelson County, Fluvanna, Louisa, Charlottesville, Greene County, Madison, going up to Prince William, Clark County, Frederick County. These are the areas I think are greatest risk for legit power outages from ice, and it might be tough to get around for a stretch on Sunday afternoon. We are feeling pretty good that Monday the temperatures are above freezing, so things do begin to melt down. We do not at all see a big deep freeze after the storm goes by. so that we are optimistic by Monday afternoon. Roads will probably be dry, but there will probably be some cleanup to deal with on Monday, especially in those areas westward from I-95. Just a reminder, follow us on both Twitter and Facebook. We'll have an update tomorrow. And of course, subscribe to the Richmond Times-Dispatch.